I've been enjoying the documentary series on Netflix that's loosely based on Andy Warhol's diaries. As you know, Andy supposedly said that in the future, we'd all be famous for 15 minutes. Now, he died long before YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, so we can forgive him for his underestimation. These days, we're all trying to be famous for at least a half an hour. Fame is a real obsession in our times. The web is stuffed with courses and videos and articles about how to game the system to get likes and views and thumbs up. They tell us to all become creators. Remember when we used to be artists and musicians and writers, and now we're all lumped under this new C word. They instruct us on how to use social media to build this gargantuan following and then how to monetize that success into cash and prizes. Of course, it's all just a hollow Ponzi scheme. Even if you succeed for a while, you're going to end up burning out. You'll sell your soul for remarkably little. The single-minded quest that we seem to all have for fame and success inevitably invites compromise. Desperation for acceptance means that you cling to the yellow lines in the middle of the road. You strain to avoid offending anybody so that you can reach the broadest audience scale. You contort your ideas to anticipate objections and to please the algorithm almighty. You dumb yourself down to become accessible. Turns out, though, you can't fool the world. You can't control this process. The machines may not be that smart, but most people actually are, and they can see through this game. You can't just hack your way to glory. Instead of following some surefire way to online success, why not make something just for you? Something that you would like, stuff that grows from your experience, from your truth, from your heart. Honestly, that's the reason that I've started to write every single book that I've written, because I wanted to read it, and I couldn't find it on the shelf. So forget Andy for a minute, and let's turn to David instead. Bowie said, "Never play to the gallery. Never work for other people in what you do. Always remember that the reason you initially started working was that there was something inside of yourself, that if you could manifest it, you felt that you would understand more about yourself." I think it's terribly dangerous for an artist to fulfill other people's expectations. That's what the man said. Most genuinely successful artists don't begin by chasing success. I'm sure they're driven to work hard, very hard, but that's because they're deeply passionate about what they're making, not because they have a formula for success. You have to create to be creating because you love ideas and craft and inspiration, not Oscars and likes and groupies and bling. Those things are more likely to drive you to drink than to the studio. Now, you may wonder, how can making stuff just for me attract millions of fans? Because weird as you are, there are millions of people out there who are very much like you. I'm sure there may be 9 billion people or whatever who aren't, but there are loads of people who have experienced the world in ways that are very much like you have. They may not be in your small hometown, but they're out there in Boston and in Bremen and Beijing. People who grew up feeling different from the other people around them. Different in exactly the same way that you're different. Different, but the same. And the more genuine and the more valuable the insights that you share are, the more they're going to mean to those folks. And there are millions of them. The fantastic thing about the internet is that eventually the stuff you make that is true and you is going to find its way across the world. It's going to find its way to all those people who need to hear it. It might take years, but it's going to happen. And when it does, Your success won't be about money, though you'll probably make enough money to live on properly. It's not about likes on social media, though you'll get those too for what they're worth. It'll be about a deep personal connection with other people. You'll connect with people who will be your friends, who will love you, who will value you for saying in words or chords or brush strokes what they didn't think that anyone else would ever say. Art has that power to make us feel less alone, less sequestered in our ivy spheres, our bags of meat, our handfuls of decades on the spinning orb. Art can make us one. Can fame beat that, Andy? The idea for this video started with one of the essays that I write every week. I write them just to send out to people who subscribe, and they're free. And I do it for the same reason that I make YouTube videos, because I have ideas and I really want to share them with you. You can get my essays too if you'd like. Just go to dannysessays.com, tell me where you want to get them, and I'll start sending them to you this week. I hope you do. Thanks for listening.